Are our phones listening to us? They've definitely got microphones in. There's a possibility that that could be happening. But, you know, sometimes the conspiratorial answer is a little too convenient. And maybe it's actually just a little simpler than you think. Everyone has experienced saying something, having a conversation, and then getting an ad for it on your phone. And then we seem to think that this is, you know, hey, the phone's listening. It knows this thing. I realized the better way to express how to think about such a thing. When you get that ad on your phone after you were just talking about something and it feels eerie, like, why would it now show me this? I just heard about it from a friend or whatever. What we got to think is that the algorithms and the technology behind it is really smart and sophisticated. And it's probably not that it knows us better than ourselves, but what I realized is that a lot of things that we talk about tend to be trendy or current or ongoing. Rarely do we strike up a conversation and talk about something incredibly obscure, niche, that happened 150 years ago that you've never even read a book about. Most conversation is very close to whatever's current and going on. And because of this, there are things that are going to be happening and you're going to be a type of person and the algorithm is going to know this. So sometimes we hear a lot of stuff on, let's say, podcasts, and then you look it up and then you get an ad about it or whatever. But it's like you're the type of person that consumes that type of podcast. And all the other people that also consume that are also suddenly interested in this one thing. So then YouTube serves you up this suggestion. It clicked with me when I was searching for something on YouTube in the car. Ironically, it was Will Smith eating spaghetti. And it was the first thing that came up. And it just clicked with me. This is one of the most current trendy things related to Will Smith. So as I go to type in his name, it already knows the most likely thing that I'm going to search is Will Smith eating spaghetti. Further down the list is Will Smith Bad Boys, Will Smith Independence Day, you know, Willennium, Big Willie style. That's all years ago. So people ain't searching for that as much. But maybe if, you know, some podcast you listen to did a deep dive on Will and the algorithm knows that's your thing, it might have put something different at the top. But what really clicked with me in that moment was that you only see the positives. You only see the times it gets it right. So now think about every time you see an ad and every time you see a search suggestion, imagine that that is trying to directly target you, but this time it missed. Because now when you get that one that feels eerie and you're like, I was just talking about that with a friend. If you think, but I've also seen today 20 other ads, search suggestions, now you look at it like it's 1 in 20. 1 in 20 times it got it right. And then it feels a little different. And that's that kind of like confirmation bias thing where you only see the one angle of it. So what about all those other times? And that's what it hit me when I searched for Will Smith eating spaghetti, generated by AI. A perfect moment to have a deep thought is watching that Will Smith eating spaghetti video. In that moment, I got, you know, the dart hit the dartboard, but I'm not aware of how many darts are being thrown and missing the target. And that's the thing. Are our phones listening to us? They've definitely got microphones in. There's a possibility that that could be happening. But, you know, sometimes the conspiratorial answer is a little too convenient. And maybe it's actually just a little simpler than you think. And when you start to think about all the misses that you don't see, that for me really sort of like clicks into place. It's like, I'm not counting all these other factors, am I? You have a conversation about spoons and you will get a spoon advert that says Piranha by Kelly. Yes, okay, right. But why are you now suddenly thinking about spoons, okay? You could be a type of person and you're just not aware that spoons are just on the rise with your demographic of people. But we've got these advanced algorithms in the background that just pick out these trends that we can't see because they've got so much data. Maybe the last time you brought spoons was 20 years ago and that's the average time that a person needs a new spoon for your demographic. Look, it might sound a little silly. It might sound a little over the top, but the idea is that they've got so much data. These algorithms are so advanced, maybe they can pick out these subtleties. And you're not noticing the time you got an advert about a fork, but you didn't have a conversation about a fork. And you don't know how many times that ad has been served to other people who weren't just talking about spoons. So you've got to think about like how narrow your vision is with these things sometimes. And I think it's important to think like that, because if you don't, a lot of conspiratorial thinking makes things very easy. It makes like a simple story, a narrative, an easy explanation that there's something conspiring against you. And that might be what's going on with the phone, and the idea that it listens and then, you know, they just talked about spoons. I think with the phones though, they definitely have microphones and they definitely are close to that technology. So if it one day was uncovered, someone leaks the story, shows the intel, I've got the proof, here it is. If that happens, then sure. When the evidence is there, okay, you know, end of. But until it is, it's just a little on the conspiratorial side for me, right? So did you enjoy the waffle? Want to hear more stories and thoughts? Check out the playlist link below if you want more videos like these, and of course subscribe to the channel to catch future ones, and go to linktree.xisuma.co if you'd like to find links to all of the other activities that I do, including playing guitar, making music, Minecraft videos, and much more. Go check out that link.